I know you're here for Crazy Chicken Pinball, but I should also introduce you to the Crazy Chicken franchise, since you probably don't know much about that either. It is, after all, a spin-off of the main series, which is a kind of shooting gallery game. Moorhuhn X, or Crazy Chicken X, is the game I was first looking for, since I had played it in my childhood. Scrolling down the Crazy Chicken Wikipedia article, I saw the listing for the pinball spin-off, amongst the millions of other wild spin-offs, and a core memory was unlocked. I just had to play it again. So I legally obtained my copy of Crazy Chicken Pinball and played until I had first place on the leaderboard for each board, of which there are 5. And through my experience of this, I will rank each board based on how fun they were to grind. Also, this game ran with a stretched 16:9 aspect ratio. But for your viewing experience, let's shrink it down to the intended 4:3 aspect ratio. Anyway, let's head. We'll start off with Kart. Each board is based off another game in the franchise, with this one being based off the kart racing series. This is a good place to get used to the controls. Down arrow to start, left and right shift for the paddles. This is pinball, it's not very hard. There is, however, a mechanic where you can use the left control to shove the ball right, right control to shove the ball left, and space to shove the ball upwards. It's really useful later on the harder boards, but if you use it too much, the board will tilt and you will have to watch your ball slowly fall into the abyss. The racetrack at the top is a pretty cool gimmick and super satisfying to get the ball into. The multi-balls are surprisingly easy to get, you'll probably get it without even trying. The bumpers at the top, though making a very nice place for the ball to bounce around, is also a bit tedious to try and get to, and there are outlanes on both sides that have stolen runs from me way too often. Still, a fun board. Solid A tier. Next up is X, based off the chicken shooter I was talking about earlier. This board takes some ideas from the game and implements it pretty well, like the shotgun shells and the chicken with the frying pan that blocks the shots. This board is much easier than Kart. It's got the world's easiest score multiplier bonus and a whole bunch of free points right underneath. The placement of the multi-ball can be pretty annoying, as it can feel like driving into a tree. But it's a multi-ball, so it's fine. There's also only one outlane, so as long as you're not going towards the left, then you should be safe. This board feels a lot more straightforward and less frustrating than Kart can sometimes be. Every part of the board is pretty easy to reach with a bit of time, giving you more chances to strategize and try to snipe some multipliers or multi-balls. There's not too much to talk about since it's just a plain simple board and everything is laid out in front of you. I think it definitely adds to the board, making it feel more accessible instead of making it feel boring. S tier. Adventure is based off a Nintendo DS game called Crazy Chicken Adventure, the Pharaoh's Treasure. It's a match 3 game with some other minigames sprinkled in throughout. Before recording footage for the game, I had this board placed lower on the list than I have it now. But after playing through this board again, I realized it was simply a difference in skill. This board can be cruel if you don't know what you're doing, but it gives you literally the most amount of free score out of any board in the game. I used to not go for this section on the left, which was a massive blunder. If you make this shot, you can consistently get the ball there, and assuming the ball rolls to the right, you'll get 10,000 points instantly. If you don't, the game laughs at you and apparently you get a curse, but in practice, I'm pretty sure it doesn't do anything. Apart from that, the start of the board is basically 3 points, and there's a pyramid that you can get the ball into. But you need to get the ball in there, really in there. Otherwise it just rolls out and you feel a very deep disappointment in yourself. The only negatives is that the board can throw your ball into one of the 2 outlanes, and your ball can also drop at a bad angle here, but just remember to shove it out the way. Otherwise, easy S tier. When I used to play this game as a kid, my arch nemesis was this board, Disco. I forgot why that was the case until I played it again. Man, this course is tough. Trying to get points is like begging for money on the streets. Every method of getting points needs so much precision that half the time you're just going back and forth doing nothing. What's worse are these things that are just there to punt your ball right back at you. It's like that multi-ball in X, but with no benefits. You get nothing for hitting it. So it's actually like driving into a tree. And when you start the game, your ball gets funneled down the middle straight to your death. So you better be ready to shove the ball. The one saving grace for this board is that it's not too hard to farm up points and be done with it. Stop the ball on the right flipper and hit it as soon as the ball is fully over the flipper. There's a good chance that it'll brush against the bumper, which will get you some quick and easy points. If it wasn't for that one exploit, then this would be down at F tier, but since you can basically cheat, it's at D tier. Don't try to play this board legitimately, because if your therapist hears about what you've went through, you won't be seeing the light of day again. Also, I couldn't put this at the start since I wanted to do the whole arch nemesis thing, but this board isn't actually based off any other entry in this series. Finally, we have Wanted. This is based off another chicken shooter in the Moorhuhn series, but Wild West themed. While this board has the best background music, it's the only thing that this board has going for it. Out of the 8 ways to earn points, 4 of them point your ball towards either of the outlanes, or right down the middle. This leads to the most frustrating and tedious gameplay of any board, where any mistake can easily end your run. The devs probably knew this, since there's an auto fire mechanic that fires out a new ball if you lose your first one too quickly. This really shouldn't need to be a thing. I did find a way to farm up points, but it was not nearly as fast as on Disco. All I did was go clockwise on the Yes, it plays the same sound effect from Plants vs Zombies. Stop the ball and do that over and over. Even then, the ball would sometimes bounce straight into an outlane by pure bad luck. This is the board that made me learn how to shove balls, so I could actually play it with some success. There is a gimmick where you assassinate some criminal chickens, but they have to be done in order, which makes completing the whole thing borderline impossible. So while this board is themed very well, the incredibly slow and risky process of gaining score makes this a sludge to grind, and in my opinion, the worst board in the game. F tier. Those were all the courses. Not much, I know, but it makes for a neat little game. I still have fond memories of it, and I'm glad to have found it again. Getting to the top of the leaderboards for each board does feel like an achievement, as small as it might be. Crazy Chicken Pinball is good fun.